So we'll go ahead and find a comfortable, upright posture. Let the breath coming in bring awareness into the body. And the breath coming out, allowing the body a sense of ease, settledness. Noticing any places in the body where there may be some tension. Bringing the breath in. See if we can allow just a little bit more ease. Okay, welcome back. Jessica has started a tradition of reading a little bit of Ajahn Chah, and I don't want to break that tradition, so I'm going to keep it going. So, just a little something short and sweet. He said, "Someone recently asked me, as we meditate and various things arise in the mind, should we investigate them or just note them coming and going? If you see someone passing by who you do not know, you may wonder, who is that? Where is he going? What is he up to? But if we know the person, it is enough just to notice him pass by." Okay, so I thought with my kind of reflection time, I would read a little bit of a sutta. This is the Itivuttaka, and thanks for Dansky for getting the book for me so I can read it out of the book. I had written it on a note here. So I thought I'd read this kind of slowly a couple times, and we can kind of just sit in a reflective place with the text. And then if anything's coming up for me, I will share it. And Kristen maybe has something to share as well. And then we'll have some time for Q&A and reflection. Okay, the Buddha said, "The born become produced, made, fabricated, impermanent, fabricated of aging and death, a nest of illness, perishing, come into being through nourishment, and the guide that is craving is unfit for delight." I'll read that again. The born become produced, made, fabricated, impermanent, fabricated of aging and death, a nest of illness, perishing, come into being through nourishment, and the guide that is craving is unfit for delight. The escape from that is peaceful, permanent, a sphere beyond conjecture, unborn, unproduced, the sorrowless, stainless state, the cessation of stressful qualities, stilling of fabrications, bliss. And I'll read that again. The escape from that is peaceful, permanent, a sphere beyond conjecture, unborn, unproduced, the sorrowless, stainless state, the cessation of stressful qualities, stilling of fabrications, and bliss. There was a big shift in my own practice. Um, this is a little bit ago. I was listening to one of the monks from our tradition, Ajahn Chunda, share a reflection at Abhayagiri, which is our kind of parent monastery in Northern California. And someone had asked him about how to integrate their practice into their daily life, and some kind of insight or advice on how to do that. And his response was to basically do the opposite, to bring our daily life and everything else actually into our practice. And this at first seemed like a subtle shift and made a lot of sense to me, but it became a big kind of sea change in the way I practiced. And this specific sutta, for whatever reason, jumped out to me just as kind of the aim of our practice and the goal, which is this total cessation of suffering, this permanent cessation, which is marked by these gradual cessations and times of bliss and times of feeling not so wrapped up in the formed and the created and everything that's talked about, but finding ways to bring my whole life into this practice and into really just noticing the ways that I get wrapped around and really kind of bound up in everything that's formed and created in my life. And what I found really helpful in the first part was this kind of moving through every part that we can find ourselves really kind of diving into and finding a refuge in. And the end wasn't necessarily this this big movement into where the refuge is, but just as we come out of refuge with those things that are impermanent, that what we find and what we experience is nibbana, is this almost cooling effect. The Buddha talks about it. And so yeah, some of the ways I've done that. Well, one of the things that came up recently was how I kind of started doing that before I had this practice, before I had this kind of intentionality. I remember I was working at a Starbucks in inner city Atlanta, and I already had somewhat of a contemplative practice in another tradition, and I found ways to take every single little part of my practice of being a Starbucks barista and try to sink it into kind of a repetitive contemplative practice. And I totally forgot about this until recently, but I found myself in these states of real bliss, of real connectedness with myself, a settledness of my mind, a really calm and presentness in the moment. And so part of it for me is just recollecting these ways that I've done it in the past, and kind of finding an inspiration to do it even more into my kind of present life. And then there's just been some really simple ways, like for me right now, waking up in the morning is a time where my practice can kind of go off the rails, and I'm kind of fighting to bring my mind back into more of a still, calm place throughout the day. So just been finding ways to direct my mind in those first moments to something that's more wholesome and skillful, and maybe do a little bit of just quick walking meditation in the beginning to start my day in a certain direction. So those are a few of the things that I wanted to share, but yeah, I think there's something to continuing to bring the mind back to this goal that we have. And obviously in the beginning we can hold that goal really tightly, and it can become kind of a form of attachment, but kind of working with holding that open and knowing that we are heading in a certain direction is, at least has been really helpful for me. So as always, anything that was helpful, take it. Anything that's not, just totally forget. And do you have anything you'd like to share?
Okay, is this... Thanks, Ryan.
For sure.
It's so nice to see all of you here today, to be up here. I get really nervous talking in front of people. So I had written in Jessica's book, we gave her a book when she became the spiritual director, and I had said, I'm here to support you and help you however I can. So here I am. I just said yes because I wanted to support her in being able to go do the things she needs to do. And it's really lovely just to see all of these Kalyanamita, very good friends out there. I've been thinking a lot about equanimity lately, but especially this weekend. And I've been holding in my mind and my heart the words of our good friend Jim in the back. I don't even remember when you said this, Jim, but it really stuck with me. You said that you had been working on seeing all the things around you in the world without judgment and without wanting to change them or do something about it, but just really seeing things as they are. And I've heard that many times before, but when you said it, it really stuck with me. And so I appreciate that. And yesterday, I was on a lovely long bike ride and went down the 205 bike path where I haven't been for a while, and was not able to maintain any kind of equanimity. There's a lot of people suffering, and it really was impacting me. So a lot of people kind of camping, seemingly, actively to be using drugs or some other substance, really not kind of present in the world, it seemed. And so I was able to have compassion and real wishing well for them, a lot of metta. I was able to do that pretty easily, but what I couldn't maintain was equanimity. I had all these thoughts around, it shouldn't be like this. How did they end up like this? The city should be maintaining this bike path so I can have a better bike ride, right? All these thoughts kept coming up for me, and I wasn't really able to process that I wasn't having any kind of equanimity until this morning. And I realized, well, I really need to work on that more, or I would really like to focus on that more. Because it did bring me, I don't know, I guess one would call that suffering, right? All those thoughts and wishing it to be different, and wanting to know, what can I do about it, or what should someone else be doing about it? All that suffering. So I got out this lovely book, Ajahn Thanissaro, this morning, and there's a nice chapter on equanimity, and he was encouraging maintaining inner happiness and a sense of an even keel, so that when those things are happening in the world around us every day, all the time, it's a bit easier to try to have some equanimity. So real inner happiness and peace, and like working on that as a way of trying to have some equanimity. And he talked about this concept of the good doctor, and a doctor who treats their patient but may not be able to cure every disease that the patient has, and not discarding the whole patient, but being able to treat the things that you can treat, and then maintaining a sense of equanimity towards those things that you can't treat, so that you have the energy and the focus and the ability to do the things that can be done. That really spoke to me this morning. So that's what I've been working on, and kind of looking at seeing those opportunities arising all the time for maintaining equanimity. And again, I really appreciate the words of Jim. That really stuck with me. And just to remember that that's something we're all working on together, and supporting each other in that practice. So, thank you.
Thank you.